Welcome to Full Scope, a podcast designed to analyze the games that we love, the headlines of music, and the movies we can't forget. I'm host Wellington Burns, and I'm joined by a special guest, the one and only Austin Paul Jr., international saxophonist, a 5 times Apollo Theater winner. I had a song with Alicia Keys recently. Thank you so much for being on. We grew up together, and you taking off, man. I
For
appreciate
sure.
it.
For sure, man. Yeah, we definitely grew up with each other, man. Definitely for sure. Yeah,
Absolutely,
we did.
man. For listeners, this is a new segment that I'm adding for the podcast called Life Lessons, and I want to interview artists, entrepreneurs, and obviously he's an amazing artist. But to start off with my first question for you, when did you start playing the saxophone, and kind of who was your first most important mentor?
Okay. I first started playing saxophone when I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Mm.
About 8 or 9 years old. It was during third grade. When you went to
Is he
Pensacola Christian like me, like with PCA, and basically for some reason I chose the saxophone. My dad, he played the trumpet. My dad was a trumpet player, and my mom sung, of course, in the choir and
All right, yeah.
everything like that. So I didn't want to do what my dad played. I didn't want to do what my dad did. I wanted to play something different. My mom was talking about doing like the French horn or something like that. My dad like, nah, don't do no French horn. Don't do no French horn. So I was like, man, I'm gonna do the saxophone. And so they had us in line, you know what I'm saying, going up to the stage, trying out the different instruments. People were buzzing,
Mm.
people on the little brass, playing the xylophone or whatever. So they put me on the saxophone. They put the saxophone to my lips, and they said just blow. And
Mm.
that instant, like I just kind of like just felt something, like I just felt something. I didn't know what it was, but I
Yeah.
just felt something. But I was excited. I was truly excited about the saxophone. I was just drawn to it. And then my mom they said, okay, this is the instrument and everything like that. My mom bought the saxophone, well, rented the saxophone.
Mm.
And I just remember I was just so excited to just get it.
Yeah.
I was just ecstatic
Like
just
a
to
Christmas
have it.
present.
Like just yeah, I was just excited about the instrument from the jump.
Yeah.
I was just excited. And so I was so excited. I put it together. I didn't even know how to put it together. I did not know how to put it together or
Yeah.
nothing. I just put the neck and everything. I just put it together and everything. And so my dad came home. My dad came home, and I literally he told me to put the reed on the mouthpiece, and
Hmm.
I didn't even know what a reed was. I didn't know what a reed was. I didn't know what a mouthpiece was. I didn't know none of that stuff.
Mm.
So I just put it in my mouth and I played, and I just played, and instantly I just felt it. And then I started just playing a note, and I just started trilling a note. I just remember I just kept trilling it, just kept
Yeah.
trilling a note. And I did that for about a good about hour or two. And then my parents told me like, all right, now it's time to,
Yeah.
settle down for the night and everything like that. But yeah. So I started when I was about 9 years old, and then I started playing at church. And my first time playing was at New Dimensions Christian Center with
Sure.
at a youth event. It was a youth event,
Mm.
and it was "So Easy to Love You." I always remember that, and I played "So Easy to Love You," and literally that was the start of my whole career as being a saxophonist for real, for real. And
Mm.
then I just started getting gigs and started getting performances everywhere, like literally just everywhere, and that's the whole story
That's where
for
it began.
like
That's
just
where it
me just
began.
and then the person who really kind of like was my biggest mentor, and I wish that I had still had this guy in my corner, but he on unfortunately passed away like 2 or 3 years ago. His name was Sandy Spivey,
Mm.
and he was another saxophonist. He was a saxophonist here in Pensacola, and yeah, like I visited Sandy Spivey when he was really 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 down, like literally on his deathbed,
Oh my goodness.
and literally seriously.
Wow.
And he really showed me how to play my instrument, like really truly play my instrument. Show me as a young age. And it was so crazy because when I first started, he didn't even want to teach me. He did not want to teach me at first, because he didn't think I could play at first. But then I started playing more, and then he started trying to teach me and everything. He heard that, oh, he can play a little bit, and
Mm.
he was just so supportive of me. He was an old white guy. He was an old white guy, Sandy Spivey. He played tenor saxophone, and he showed me everything ins and outs of me playing the saxophone. And really, just other people, of course, too. I have other folks, but definitely him was a really big mentor in my development as a saxophone player.
Man, that's awesome. And
Yeah, for sure.
it's so crazy because like when I feel like with artists and even like athletes, like there's the thing about is was it just a hobby or did it when did you know it became like a passion, something like that you wanted to do like long time? Like was there like a moment in time? I mean, obviously, you said when you did at the church and you saw like the reaction,
Right,
but was there like another time where
right.
you're like, man, this is not just a hobby. I'm gonna like take this to like a different
Well,
level.
yeah, like I mean, like I always knew that I was going to be just like great. I always just strived for just being trying to be great, just trying to be
Yeah.
like just the best, or just trying to
I mean,
be,
our parents pushed us to be great.
yeah, 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 yeah. And so my mom really like poured into me, and thankful for my mother, who was a great mom. She poured into me so much, and I just knew that I was just like, just I was just playing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't. It was more so like it was more so a hobby, my first development of it. But then when I started getting like more performances and
Oh yeah.
gigs, it started becoming like, okay, this is a job. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like this is something I have to like, all right, it's kind of professional, but like you still gotta like still have the fun in it too as
Yes.
well, and like of the music, because music can definitely get like just all right, here we go again, you know what I'm saying, whatever, but like
Next track, next song. It's just like, oh,
right,
yeah.
right, 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 exactly. And but I mean, just you know, I knew that it was going to be something special in my life always. I always knew
For
that music, and
sure.
I love music. I love music. Like I mean, I remember playing music all the time since
Yeah.
I can remember. You know what I'm saying? I just remember playing music. You know what I'm
And,
saying?
and
So
that's the thing because I always had a question about just because I mean we're both I do something creative differently you as well but like how
right.
draining is it to be a creative where you get that inspiration and then sometimes there's a low where one day it's not there and you're just trying to search for like that
Oh
next
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's definitely the lows. You know what I'm
yeah
saying? There's the highs and the lows,
yeah
especially as a creative, as an artist, anybody. I don't care. It's levels to it. You know what I'm saying? And creativity, like it sometimes comes to you, sometimes doesn't. And sometimes you just have to like let those ideas out. Sometimes just let
yeah
them
man
out, and like just let them just like flow out of you, and let those creative juices go. Like if you hear something, okay, let me record that, you know what I'm saying, or let me
that's how
play
it'll
that.
be. That's how it'll be. 'Cause
Yeah, let me
I'm
play
working
it
on
over
my
because
own.
you'll forget about it. Yeah,
I'm working on my own solo mixtape for this summer, and I was
oh, for
literally just
sure.
taking the trash out, and a verse came to my head, and I was like, I gotta write it down. Just like
Yeah,
it was that
yeah,
instant.
it just comes, it comes to you, you know what I'm saying, just organically, you know what I'm saying, and make it as natural as possible, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, organic and natural as possible. So
for sure, man.
you know what I'm saying. So yeah, definitely, for sure.
This guy, I want to say this. This I have seen you in so many photos with Mr. J Prince. How do you know Jay?
James, cousin James.
Yes.
Yeah,
What is
cousin
that?
James.
What's your how is he like in knowing him, seeing him? Because obviously he's a well known guy, but just having that connection.
Yeah, yeah. Cousin James is a very, very well-known hip hop Mongol. Of course, if you are a fan of rap and fan of history, you know who James Prince is, and you know the influence he has over the Houston scene,
Oh yeah, it's
the
big, man.
Houston rap
Houston is
scene, and
such a special music
with
place, man.
Ghetto Boys,
Yeah.
with Pimp C, UGK, Bun B, just all the Houston legends have went through his label Rap a Lot.
Yes.
So I met him through my his grandmother. So his grandmother and my grandmother are cousins, and
Ah.
they I don't know how they cousins, but they say they cousins. And the thing is, his grandmother right now is like 105 years old right now. She's like
Bruh.
105 years old, and when I met him, she was like 101.
Wow.
100 years old.
Longevity.
And like she was like, I want you to introduce you to my crazy grandson. I was like, okay, because like I always played at her birthday parties. Like she would have me come to Houston and play at her birthday parties.
Mhm.
And he was never there, but like we would play at one of his centers or his rec centers or whatever. And he was at one of our family reunions. He comes to the family reunions and
Mhm.
everything. And so I met him and he was like little cousin. And ever since then in Houston, if I'm ever in Houston, I'm good. Like
Yeah,
I'm good in Houston. Like, like I can call up people and be like, I make sure that they'll make sure I have, I'll be straight. You know what I'm
that's what's up.
saying? It's really
That's what's
just
up.
because of that whole contact with James Prince, and of course, the whole story with Drake and Jazz finding Drake and
Yeah.
Drake, coming to Houston, and that's
So
really kind
like
of reason
just
why
just
Drake
as a
is in Houston
curious,
at
yeah,
the moment.
yeah, just as a curious hip hop fan, is that true that he held back Drake from sending that last Pusha T diss? That it
Yeah,
was
yeah, he did. He
wow,
did.
wow,
For
wow.
sure. For sure he did. Yeah, yeah,
Mm,
he did.
mm.
Yeah, cause like I mean, and honestly tell you the truth, if we talking about some hip hop stuff, like I feel like Drake should have definitely held back from responding to this last feud with Kendrick. I
Really? Yeah,
like at
I was want
first,
to know
like he should
what your thoughts on what your thoughts on were that. Yeah.
yeah, he should have definitely kind of like
Lay low, lay
Kendrick
low.
might have yes, Kendrick might have, said something, but you are, you were at the moment you were Drake. You know what I'm saying? You were way above
Yeah.
that. Way
You don't even have to
you don't
stoop
even
to
have to
that
stoop to
level.
that level. But
Because you're
when you
still
stoop to
touring,
that
you're still going yeah,
level,
then you gotta get in the mud. You gotta get in the mud. Yeah.
then you got to get in the mud,
You're playing
and
a different game.
and
It's a
that's what
different game.
I think. Yeah, I forgot what the quote that James said to him, like pigs lie in the mud or something like that, and flies, something about flies and pigs and whatever. But like at the end of the day, you just don't and stoop to that level because he was calling him like, yeah, come out here, come out
Exactly. I
here.
think he wants to
Eh,
show because Drake wants to show them I'm the best rapper too. But I'm like, bro, you're the best artist. You just be the best
You're the best
artist.
artist.
Yeah,
You're the
yeah.
best artist,
But
and
a rapper, when
you
that's a
make
rapper, that's
great
a different.
songs. You
Yeah,
make great, you make good songs. You make
yeah.
great songs.
And don't get me
But
wrong,
like
he's a talented rapper too. But there's a level that Kendrick
very
can
a
go.
great rapper.
There's
He's
a
a
level
great
Kendrick
rapper.
can go that just he can't go.
It can't. I knew Kendrick when I first heard the song, like because I heard it when it first dropped. I heard it when like, I'm a big hip hop fan. I'm a big music fan, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
I heard it when it dropped, and I said this is gonna be a hit because the thing is, it followed like each song, each song and everything. Like they were dropping was like just them flowing over just like beats, and
And
it was no type of
Family Matters was
like
great.
all that stuff and everything was
Yeah,
not actual song like a song format. Like I mean, they were doing just
three beat
verses and verses
switches.
and
Yeah,
verses and verses
mm.
and verses and verses. You know what I'm saying? There was no hook. There was no like actual like a
Song
core like
structure.
a actual chorus
Yeah, yeah,
or a song structure.
yeah,
A
yeah.
verse, whatever. So when Kendrick came out with that actual hook
That's a
that people can
hit.
sing and people can chant and actual come out with like an actual song, like a song format. This is an
Mhm.
actual song
It
and
became
saying
Song of the Summer.
chants,
It became
call and
Song of the
response. Let
Summer.
me hear you say OB. You know what I'm saying? Like, call and response. Like, honestly, to tell you the truth, call and response, he's doing things that,
He out Drake
then
Drake. He out Drake Drake. That's what Drake did. Like
yeah, like
he
what I'm
did a
saying.
back to
He
back
made a
against him. He did a
catchy
back to back
song. He made
against
a
him. Yeah,
catchy song,
yeah.
and the catchy song always wins, and it's something that people can dance to.
Yeah.
Somebody can vibe to, and somebody can
And that's
relate
if
to.
you're Drake,
Not just
that's a
just bars, not just
yeah.
bars spitting. Like
If
bars
you're
spitting, you'd
Drake,
be like, it's like jazz. Like what I'm saying, like you playing
exactly.
jazz and everything, and you saying a bunch of stuff and then like nobody knows what you said. But then when you actually come out with a song and it's actually not even, sometimes it might not even be that complex.
Mhm.
That holds more weight than all the stuff that you
Exactly.
know you said. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Just like a couple of lines hold held more weight than a bunch of stuff that you you said.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
That's
So
very true.
yeah, like yeah. So yeah,
Eh,
Drake was yeah. So,
you got to move on.
yeah, for
He had
sure.
to go to the
We go
melodies. He
all
had to go to the melodies, which I really like that album. You guys got to go to the melodies and just find a way to bounce back from that. But before we go to
for
break,
sure.
though, when you look back at your career and what you've done, do you have a performance where you're like, man, this is the favorite? This is like one of my most favorite performances, or is there one where you're like, man, this is the one I wish I could have changed and done better in the moment? I know you have a lot of performances, but is there one that kind of stands out?
Uh, man, honestly, I know I might be cliche or whatever, but and because that's like my home, but honestly, every time I perform at the Apollo,
Yeah.
every time I perform at the Apollo, I feel just, just I feel like just on top of the world when I'm at the Apollo. Because that's just where I started.
Yeah.
That's my
Stomping
home. You know what
grounds.
I'm saying? That's like literally my home where I started as a child, like being a
Right.
13, 14-year-old kid, what I'm saying, playing there, like that's literally
It's so
like
special. It's so
it's
special.
always special, you know what I'm saying? Because like I literally like grew up
Hmm.
in that whole, and I've seen some great guys. I mean, I seen MGK, Machine Gun Kelly, like, what I'm saying, like we sitting there like talking to Machine Gun Kelly, not knowing that he's gonna be Machine Gun Kelly, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like we
Just
we like,
casually.
hey. And then he become Machine Gun Kelly, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
you meet a lot of people like that, like my friend Matthew Whitaker. Matt is a amazing pianist, and like Matt, excuse me, me and Matt been playing since we were kids, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, and so you meet so many people in this music game, and there's so many times that I've played, and it's just like been so memorable for me. Like just how the audience reacts, how like this certain note sounded, or I remember when this like just incident happened or whatever. Like, most of my performances, I try to make them as memorable as possible. So yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of
man.
them, but definitely
The
the Apollo,
Apollo.
man. With the
Oof.
Apollo, like the sound in the Apollo, man, and
Yeah.
you just feel
You
it
can
and it
just
just
feel it. Yeah. It's
get
just
you
something,
goosebumps.
yeah, you
Yeah,
can
you
just feel it.
get you goosebumps, man, because like you know that all these legends have paved the way for you to like basically grace the stage, and you are just kind of following in their footsteps. And that
Definitely.
right there, like, what I'm saying, like,
You can't beat
is
that.
one of the most like humbling experiences in my life, like for real, for real. Like,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back.